Okay. Would you like to start, sir?
Would you like to start? Richard, I think we know the topic. There's a new quarterback in town.
Okay. There's a
Yeah.
lot. There's a lot of potential topics. We could chase down different rabbit holes, but I don't think I'll do that today.
Well, I, I still don't know how to feel about this quarterback. Everybody's in the afterglow and excited and whatever about Aaron Rodgers. I just don't know how much it makes them better either in the short term or the long term. But I don't know what the other options were either.
Well, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers, just like Mike Tomlin said in yesterday's press conference, look at his resume. If he plays to that potential again, it undisputably makes us better.
You're right. He's better than what they got, but I guess I go back to the situation that they were in made them sort of go get Aaron Rodgers, and it was an avoidable situation, perhaps. I don't know. I just think the Steelers are.
We don't know enough. We don't know enough to really have. I don't know enough to really have that position. I'll tell you a couple things, I think.
Go ahead.
First of all, I watched his press conference, watched it twice. I mean, the guy was he's humble, but confident. I feel like the way Mike Tomlin, the way he kept talking about how Mike handled it, and everybody was upset because, including me, because we didn't know what was going on. But really wasn't any of our business, as it turns out. It was probably more private. Looks like he got married, and probably a lot going on at that time. Yes, he's a public figure. So, he could expect the curiosity to understand. And so I think Mike seems to have treated him more as a person first, football player second.
I would agree with that. To dovetail off that before you get to your next point,
go ahead.
What jumped out at me about the press conference and about Aaron Rodgers is you can't fake remembering that many people in your life and mentioning them by name.
By name, every one of them.
I just, no matter, and he didn't have it written down, he didn't cite cards, or even if you did, you would have taken the time to do that. So as much as I want to make him out to be some sort of robot or this, that, there has to be a level of sincerity if you thank that many people and remember them by name, no matter how big or small your profile.
I believe that's the word that really rang true for me, and it's sincerity. And I found him to be very likable, very relatable, and a human being first. Nobody pushed him on who did you marry. Nobody pushed him on any of that. And I think that's good. And it will be organic. If he wants to tell us, he'll tell us. Who cares? I mean, you think about that and you think, well, he had a lot of personal things. He said he had a lot of personal things going on. Well, okay, so he's going to get married. He's got wedding planning, probably, a crazy bride. Who knows? He's just a person dealing with the same things that we deal with every day. The nice part of it is to see that he is one of us. And I felt that. When I say one of us, I don't know what that means. We talk about the word yinzers. I don't subscribe to any of that. What I do subscribe to is this is a great town, great city, great fans. And, I think they're going to welcome Aaron Rodgers, especially that opening game when we beat the New York Jets. I think that's going to be a pretty cool thing.
I guess my takeaway too is I've seen a lot of opening press conferences with a lot of people of lower stature that were much shorter, curt, to the point, that didn't want to be bothered. And not that would have been okay for him to do, but considering all the circumstances, it would have been understandable. And you don't win and lose games with a press conference, but he really impressed me yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
So that's that with the press conference.
Yeah. Yep. I guess for me, I was impressed. that'd be really. And I know we're done with the press conference, but that really did impress me. I was impressed by Aaron.
Oh yeah.
Um, I saw him. I saw some pictures of him with your buddy Alan Deep. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that. Does he know him?
Uh, it looks like it, but I think it was just like the luck of the draw. They were golfing at in Swickley,
Oh, okay.
and I think it was a Cam Hayward event. But
Yes.
but yeah, so they played, and I mean, the guy's just a guy, and we have high expectations for him. As Mike Tomlin said so many times yesterday, read his resume. He certainly has the ability. I've seen things that people said, is he the greatest quarterback to ever put on a Steelers outfit? I mean, how do you know that? I mean, you look at Aaron Rodgers' last 2 years, that wasn't very impressive. You look at Ben Roethlisberger's last 2 years, that wasn't impressive. But in today's world, I'd probably take Ben Roethlisberger over Aaron.
Yes. Well, he doesn't need to be Ben Roethlisberger. He needs to be better than Mason Rudolph, and in everybody's estimation, he is.
Oh, there's no question. The other thing, speaking of that, the other thing I noticed yesterday was he was very respectful to Will Howard.
Like, incredibly so, and I didn't feel that was manufactured or fake or anything.
I didn't either.
Because we all remember how Ben treated Mason Rudolph.
Yes.
Before, and this is a situation where he has zero to lose. He's not going to lose his job. He's not. So why not impart some wisdom to somebody who absolutely watched him growing up and probably may have been one of his heroes, or at least a quarterbacking hero? So what does he have to lose by being kind and passing along lessons to somebody who potentially could use them in the future to be very good?
And yes, that's all true. But there's, he has Mason Rudolph. His name never came up.
Yeah, that was interesting. But you know what I think? And I thought about that this morning. It's funny you say that. I think Mason Rudolph never came up, or Mason Rudolph was never a topic, because in almost a level of respect, it's like Mason Rudolph knows how to be a pro, and we all know this.
Mm-mm.
No? You think that he just passed him up on? Tell me more then.
I can't. I don't know. But there's crazy things that cross my mind, which probably doesn't surprise you.
What, like he doesn't like him?
I mean, there was a lot of conversation negative about Mason appearing at the political rally. And I think we probably could guess what side.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we don't have to guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's a stretch. It's a stretch. It could just be coincidence too.
Well,
and
no.
Maybe we're just trying to, or I'm just trying to find good topics.
I don't know. I think that what I've found out in watching Rodgers, especially the last 18 months, or maybe even 2-3 years now, actually, outside of football, is he's his own bird. He operates as his own bird. Sometimes he tries too hard to tell everybody he's his own bird, and it becomes not organic, but he doesn't stray from it either.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
It's a test. You mentioned the fact as evidence of sincerity, how he was able to rattle off all the names.
Mm-hmm.
They were all the Pittsburgh names. Everybody had a Pittsburgh root or origin, right?
Including a Munhall guy, Luke Getsy.
Luke Getsy. That's right. Do you remember them all that he named?
I remember most of them, yeah.
Could you name them?
Tom Clements.
Okay, Tommy, or to be like he said, that was the funny part. He
Yes.
said, depending on how old you are, Tom or Tommy.
Now, Tom Clements.
He went to Canada, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Okay.
Tom Clements, Darren Perry.
Wait, slow down. Who's Darren Perry?
He played for the Steelers. He played for Penn State. Tom Clements, Darren Perry, Kevin Green, Luke Getsy, Frank Signetti.
Yep.
And there was maybe one or two more in there.
Mike McCarthy.
Oh, Mike McCarthy, obviously. And then there was one more in there. And it was an old Steeler coach, I believe.
Who's his quarterback coach right now?
The Steelers quarterback coach? Well, they got rid of that Mike Sullivan. He just doesn't appear on their coaching roster anymore. So I don't know if he has a quarterback's coach or if it's just the offensive coordinator. You know who Aaron Rodgers' quarterback's coach is? Aaron Rodgers.
Why do you say that?
Because when you're 41 years old or whatever, and you've been through all that, you don't have a quarterback's coach. You deal with the offensive coordinator and you deal with the head coach, and you have unilateral power to do what you want at practice, at the scrimmage line, and all of that. Ben Roethlisberger didn't have a quarterback's coach towards the end.
Okay. Maybe. I might.
The quarterback's coach hands him a play sheet, hands him maybe a template on what they're going to do. But when you reach a certain status in the NFL as a quarterback, you're your own quarterback's coach. They take care of the backups.
Okay. All right.
My thought.
I'll go with it. I think you always need a coach.
I think so, maybe. What is the record going to be? Do you think they'll get past 10 wins?
If Aaron stays healthy, I do. The one thing I did notice when they played posted that picture with Aaron Rodgers golfing, he was with DK.
Right.
That is one big guy, man.
That's going to be his security blanket. That's going to be his guy, and they're going to sort of form an alliance. And I think it can be good and bad, but I think that's the alliance within the team.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think so. Yeah, I mean, if Aaron's healthy, I'm not a Mason Rudolph guy. I'm just not. So I don't know how good or bad would be. I would just tell you to look at Mason Rudolph's win-loss record, and it's not better than 10-7 as an average. So he's more losses than he does have wins. So if we're depending on him to take us to where we want to go, I think that's probably not realistic. I think it's perfectly realistic, as I read his resume, as Mike Tomlin said, perfectly understandable to expect and have bigger expectations than that. And you blacked out, by the way.
Hello. There you go. Your audio's back. So look at Mason Rudolph. What? The audio went out again. But anyhow.
Well, Mason Rudolph's one-loss record is not, on an average, it's not 10-7. It's much worse than that. So if we're depending on him, if Aaron were to get hurt, if we're depending on Mason to get us to that 10-7 record, not happening.
What do you make of TJ Watt not being there? Do you hold personal stuff when it's a business decision like that?
No, I don't, and because it is the business of football.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. And we saw before he didn't really go to training camp all that much, and he was fine when the game started.
He did that once before, but he also got hurt that year.
He did, but
and to me that's a conditioning thing, and I don't listen. He's professional. He knows what he's doing. I'm not going to argue with him. That's for sure. But I don't like disruption. I don't hold it against him. The people that need to know. People that are aware have been talking about this longer than the past 3 days. So it's a work in progress. I don't like to see anything that's a distraction. And this is not a distraction yet. I hope it doesn't become one. But, there's the business side of football. I'm not sure. I mean, he would have to get a pretty big contract.
Right.
And I'm not sure I'd do that.
I think what we found out over the past few years is the relationship between TJ Watt and the Pittsburgh Steelers front office is less than perfect. Like I don't think that can be argued anymore. It's not this perfect, everything is rosy. It's not terrible, but it's not love. This is kind of just where I work.
Well, tell me. Yeah, it feels that way a little bit too. Tell me, give me stats, give me data. TJ's year in 2024.
I mean, it wasn't as good as Myles Garrett, you
No,
know?
it wasn't. That's kind of my point.
Right.
Sacks, pressures. I mean, what do the numbers say? Because to me, it felt like, especially in the well, first of all, our defense I thought was horrendous. We got killed. I really felt like we did, and they've addressed that. They've come back and they've really addressed it. I like everything they've done on the defensive side of the ball, but I felt like they figured out TJ, and he seemed to struggle on the double teams, which, I mean, of course you would. You got beasts you're going against. Now you have two of them. I get it, but they seem to have figured him out.
I think it's all predictable though. Like the Steelers are the most patient organization with contracts. It'll get figured out. He'll practice a little bit and then bang, he'll play.
This is fun, but it's fun to talk about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It is fun to talk about and speculate because you got a 50% chance of being right and a 50% chance of being wrong.
No, you're right about that.
50%.
I'm mad. I went to Michigan and a Ford did not win for only the second time in 11 years.
Yeah, I know. Kind of sucks. But you had a good time though.
I had an incredible time. All the Ford people were there. They were excited. They were ripping and roaring right in their backyard. And yeah, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Oh, I hate that word. I hate that phrase. But anyway, hopefully I do. Oh, you're killing me. All right. I'm not going down that. I was gonna go one more path, but I'm not. I'm not going to do it. I'm just very disappointed in the way this world is evolving lately. I don't like it.
So am I. But we just persevere, Richard.
Yeah, I don't like it though.
I just keep it moving.
Red, blue, it doesn't matter. I don't like it.
Me either. That's why my circle is as tight as it's ever been.
Yeah, it needs to be. It really needs to be. And frankly, it really needs to be because there's so much passion involved here that it destroys relationships. I mean, people disagree on everything so violently.
People can't dislike me if they don't know me. So that's the way I look at it.
That's a pretty good way to look at it.
I don't get to know them.
Yeah.
It's
a pretty good way, but just reporting on what you see is it's disturbing.
It's terrible. We've become a lawless society with the thought that it's okay to be lawless.
But it's okay.
Okay. That's beyond me, lost on me. It doesn't even enter my mind that it's okay to damage other people's stuff. It's not even okay for me to leave a gum wrapper somewhere, let alone burn somebody's car. I mean,
it's
really that's
I had to talk about it. I had to say something. It bothers me so much. I was up very late last night continuing to watch. I don't know why I continue to watch because every time I do, I'm appalled. I lived in Los Angeles during the Rodney King riots, and it feels like I'm watching an instant replay of it. The visual, it's just unbelievable to me. I can't understand it. And then of course you come back with the other. It's just I don't even want to mention because
that house in the middle of Idaho or Maine looks more appetizing every single day.
Doesn't it? Yeah, it really does.
Yes.
But it's a shame, and I actually do pray for it. But it's a shame, and I felt it was worth a mention.
I agree. Well, on to next week. We'll have happy football stories to talk about, Richard.
Happy football stories. It seems like an oxymoron at this point. Goodbye.
Goodbye.